This is News 8 Now, this morning.
I don't think it's right that anybody that gets a threat to burn a fellow fireman, his brother's life, to be able to be allowed to be on the road.
Thursday, these trains shot off the rails and wound up in the Mississippi River. So 1 week ago, I was assured by the BNSF Railroad that they're taking all the precautions they could to make sure that this wouldn't happen, and it did.
As the day goes on and they get that experience and they get more comfortable with what we're doing and what we're showing them, by the end of the day, they're all really excited and really happy that they took the course.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye opener. I'm Sophia Pullman.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is Monday, May 1st. April flew by.
Sure did. Now we're in May.
I know. It's getting warmer and warmer gradually. Hopefully that trend sticks.
Yeah, usually, we're supposed to see the low 70s as we head to the second week of May. So, I think we're a little close.
We're getting there.
We're getting there, It's
slowly but surely.
Slow and steady here. And I think, you'll like the warm up here, especially towards the middle to end of this week. But, right now, though, it's a little bit chilly outside, and that's because we're looking at some pretty gusty conditions here this morning here to start us off. And, we've seen gusts anywhere between 20 to 30 miles an hour, even occasional gusts even higher than that. La Crosse Airport just recently measured 33-mile-per-hour wind gusts coming out of the north-northwest. And again, that's making things pretty chilly because it's making our feel-like temperatures into the low 30s in many spots out there, so make sure to bundle up. In addition to that, it's very cloudy, but at least the precipitation is well to our east now. That was affecting us yesterday and the weekend in general. But for your planner the rest of the day, cloudy skies, temperatures in the low 50s this afternoon, and still staying windy out of the north-northwest between 15 to 25 miles per hour, at least occasional gusts to 30 also possible. Your allergy report today, medium for both ash and birch. The trees are high. Same forecast in store for tomorrow. The pollen symptom index will remain high because we're kind of in the peak tree pollen season. That's why the tree pollen levels there are looking pretty high. So overall, pretty seasonable conditions there for the pollen. But I'll have a check on that for the forecast. We'll time out the wind gusts in just a bit. Sophia?
Thanks, Derek. Let's get to some news this morning. We have an update on the train derailment near DeSoto that happened Thursday. All toxic materials have been removed and Highway 35 is still closed so that repairs on the track and roadway can continue. That's according to a Facebook post by Crawford County Emergency Management. Old Highway 35 near DeSoto is also closed. Road closures are expected to last until Wednesday. Crawford County Emergency Management shared that today the Drake Piano Bar will offer a free lunch to volunteers and those affected by the flood. Derek Van Orden held a meeting with officials after the train derailment. In the crash, 4 Burlington Northern Santa Fe crew members were taken to a hospital, treated for minor injuries, and later released. Van Orden says he was in Stoddard last week and spoke with BNSF Railroad, who assured him the tracks were safe amid record flooding.
Thursday, these trains shot off the rails and wound up in the Mississippi River. So 1 week ago, I was assured by the BNSF Railroad that they're taking all the precautions they could to make sure that this wouldn't happen, and it did.
Van Orden spoke with officials at all levels to discuss what can be done going forward. Van Orden thanked federal, state, and local officials for showing up and responding to the incident quickly.
I'm really proud. If anything comes out of this that's good, it's the fact that Wisconsinites know what they're doing. These men standing behind me are awesome. They just are.
There is a federal investigation into what caused this train derailment. Crawford County's Emergency Management Director Jim Hackett told News 8 that crews will work constantly until the scene is cleared. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and one community took a stand against sexual violence by walking in support of survivors. The 3rd annual Sexual Assault Awareness Walk took place in Winona. The event was sponsored by the Sexual Assault Interagency Council and the Winona Advocacy Center. Members of the community walked around Lake Winona hoping to end sexual violence.
Essentially, we're just kind of like trying to get the message out there that we're coming together as a community and essentially having a stance as a community that we're not going to put up with that kind of behavior.
Gurnick says she hoped for a better turnout, but given the weather, she was pretty happy. She looks forward to next year's walk and hopes it will be bigger. For more information about the Advocacy Center of Winona, visit news8000.com. In La Crosse, teens received crash courses in driving techniques. Gunderson Health Systems, the Teen Car Control Clinic, teaches young drivers behind the wheel exercises and increased awareness. Lessons range from weight transfer to learning what to do when your car slides. Organizers say the kids were nervous at first, but that changed as the day went on.
As the day goes on and they get that experience and they get more comfortable with what we're doing and what we're showing them, by the end of the day, they're all really excited and really happy that they took the course.
Over 24 students participated in the course. Fire safety mixed with fun at the La Crosse Children's Museum. Kids got to check out firefighters' gear, learned how to make an emergency exit plan, and asked questions about fire safety. The fire department says it's never too early to teach kids to be fire safe.
When you're a new parent, there's some things that you have to learn, and adjusting your fire safety awareness because you now have children in the home is also going to be really important.
The fire department encourages families to make sure they have a working smoke alarm and a fire safety plan. The Bike Barn helped the La Crosse Police Department do some spring cleaning. Items left behind at the police department's evidence locker were put up for auction at the Bike Barn on Isle La Plum. Organizers say the auction is good for those searching for a bike or some great deals.
Sometimes you can get a pretty decent bike for a decent price. Otherwise, depending on how many people show up at the auction, there could be a slight bidding war and it could go a little bit higher than expected.
The Bike Barn has 200 to 300 bikes, so anyone in town who has lost their bike can look for it there. If you'd like to look for your lost or stolen bike, it's open from 4:30 until 6 p.m. on the first Wednesday of each month until October. UW La Crosse students invited community members to help at the Earth Fair at Myrick Park. Students reached out to the public to bring in playground surfaces. The team is testing the safety of different play surfaces, like the chemicals found in recycled crumb rubber play surfaces. A UWL chemistry professor says he hopes their research will make a difference.
We hope to let the school district know and also the city of La Crosse and everybody who's involved know if we find a risk relative to certain toxic thresholds.
The student team is led by Professor Rolfus and works with the Safer Playgrounds and Community Environments Group and the Thriving Earth Exchange. They say the project will wrap up this fall and then they'll share the results with the community. Book lovers took over downtown Viroqua over the weekend for the first annual Ridges and Rivers Book Festival, and tourists and neighbors alike are celebrating a love of books. Organizer Maggie Strottmeyer says the festival has been a great success and is the perfect opportunity to celebrate local authors.
We are really kind of eclectic here in Viroqua, and we love to celebrate reading and writing.
This was a 3-day festival. There was a book fair, book gardens, and authors at different locations throughout downtown. Strottmeyer says the feedback has been wonderful, and she's grateful for a community that helped make it possible. Rotary Club members had a pint for a good cause. Pints for Polio is a pub crawl where people can hit local bars to fund polio vaccinations in third world countries.
We're almost at the end of this effort to eradicate polio from the face of the earth. So really we're just going for a big push. We'd love for the community to get involved and along with the Rotarians.
Crawlers got a passport, a pint glass, a koozie, and 3 drink tickets. Some of the participating bars were Big Al's, The Crow, Bodega Brew and Pub, and the La Crosse Distilling Company. It's graduation season over at St. Mary's University in Winona. 230 graduates walked the stage at Spring 2023 commencement. Seniors were honored with their degrees and lots of love from family members. If you have a loved one who is in the ceremony and you were unable to go, no worries. We have a link on news8000.com. Still ahead on your morning news, General Mills has released a recall that may be connected to a deadly bacteria. And artificial intelligence may be taking over the workforce in the near future. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. If you're looking for a job, love animals, and don't take yourself too seriously, an opportunity at the Blackpool Zoo might be for you. The animal sanctuary in England is looking for people to dress like a giant bird and chase them away. The requirements are simple. You must be outgoing, energetic, and of course comfortable wearing a bird costume. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning after the break.
Bit gusty outside now. We're seeing gusts anywhere between around 20 to 30 miles an hour. That is making our wind chills feel like our temperatures are into the 30s here, but our actual temperatures into the upper 30s to low 40s. Dog walking conditions, a little bit windy out there. Cloudy skies, though, throughout the remainder of the day and also as we head into the evening hours. Zone forecast today calling for high temperatures today rising into the low 50s. 52 today in Holmen, 52 in La Crosse and Onalaska as well. But highs around 48 today in Viroqua. A little bit warmer to the west in New Albany today with a high of 54. 52 in La Crescent, though. 50 today in Melrose, 50 in Black River Falls, 50 as well in Sparta, 51 in Eau Claire, and highs mainly into the 40s and low 50s in the Chippewa Valley here today. So for your schoolcast this morning, again, windy, 42 degrees, and also very cloudy. We will expect some windy conditions to continue as we head into this afternoon. Skies continue to remain on the cloudy side, temperatures at 51 degrees. Now stay tuned. I'm going to have a check on your full weather forecast again here in just a few minutes. We'll talk about your wind speeds and how the rest of the week is shaping out because we could be in store for a bit of a warm-up trend. All that more in just a bit.
In your consumer news this morning, General Mills is recalling 4 varieties of gold medal flour due to potential salmonella exposure. The national recall is for 2 and 5 pound bags of bleached all-purpose flour and 5 and 10 pound bags of unbleached all-purpose flour, with better if used by dates of March 27th and 28th of 2024. Consumers are asked if they have one of the recalled packages to throw it away. And an Indonesian food giant says its popular Indomie instant noodles are safe for consumption. It comes after both Taiwan and Malaysia recalled their products following reports from health officials claiming the chicken flavor contains a potential cancer-causing substance. In a statement issued earlier this week, the company said it has strictly followed and complied with domestic and international health and food safety standards. Tattoo lovers got to talk all things ink. Over 100 tattoo artists and shops came in from all over the country to the La Crosse Center. It was a chance for visitors to get a new tattoo or check out ideas for one. Artists also put their skills to the test in a competition. One of the organizers says that the convention helps break negative stereotypes.
We are all about business, and business is what's important. The art is what is important. It used to be so taboo to be tattooed, and now it's just a way of expressing. I would rather have people be tattooed than carve themselves.
All proceeds collected went to a food pantry in La Crosse. Computers are a part of your everyday life, and they're getting a stronger grip on the working world. A new report from the World Economic Forum says they could play an increasing role in future employment.
Big changes are expected for the global job market. According to a report published Sunday by the World Economic Forum, 14 million jobs will disappear in the next 5 years as more companies adopt advanced technologies like artificial intelligence.
This could potentially save time and resources, but it could also lead to a loss of personal connections and a decline in the quality of these types of interactions.
The WEF also says among the 3 fastest growing jobs are AI and machine learning specialists, sustainability specialists, and business intelligence analysts. The fastest declining jobs are secretarial roles, including bank tellers, cashiers, and data entry clerks. As workers worldwide deal with that, in Washington, D.C., the battle over the debt ceiling enters the month of May. President Joe Biden and most Democratic lawmakers want the debt limit raised with no spending cuts.
What the president is saying, he's not going to negotiate with someone who's actually threatening the economy, taking the entire economy hostage.
Republicans are pushing forward with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's Limit, Save, and Grow Act of 2023, which raises the debt limit but trims the budget.
This is no longer about politics. We have passed a debt ceiling solution. We will not, House Republicans will not allow America to default on its debt. We showed that last week.
John Lawrence, News 8 Now.
Economic officials, including Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, says the U.S. government will go broke by summer unless Congress boosts the debt limit. That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek in today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Sophia. Sure is a bit of a cloudy start outside this morning, as you can see behind me from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse, although we are starting to see some breaks in the clouds, though, but we are still expecting a mainly cloudy day here. However, in general, 42 degrees with north-northwest winds sustained at 24, gusting to 33 miles an hour at the airport. Mississippi River is at 14.36 feet, and the good news is that it is dropping still. 40 degrees and cloudy skies are the current conditions in Eau Claire with north-northwest winds at 14, gusting, however, to 28 miles an hour. And the real reason why things are so gusty is because we're still watching this very broad, vertically stacked low pressure system that we're watching here just northeast of the Great Lakes and northeast of us here in general as well. That's creating a bit of a tight pressure gradient here on the west side, and that's why we're looking at those windy conditions ongoing across the area, which is making our wind chills feel like it's in the low 30s, despite our actual temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s this morning. So these gusty conditions are going to continue, it looks like, through the morning and also into the afternoon. In fact, by the afternoon, it could be very gusty. 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts are certainly a possibility here before they begin to subside just a bit as we head into overnight, because around 2 o'clock tonight, we're going to be looking at wind gusts between around 15 to 25 miles an hour. Now, as we head into the day tomorrow, those wind gusts will begin to increase here again, so we could be looking at wind gusts anywhere between that 20 to 30 mile per hour wind mark, very similar to what we're going to see here today before they subside again as we head into tomorrow night. And then after tomorrow night, I think we're in the clear for those wind gusts as they will continue to drop there for the rest of the week. Cloudy skies, temperatures into the 40s and 50s today with forecast highs in La Crosse today around 52 degrees. If you're in Eau Claire, you'll be at 50 today. Sparta just shy of 50. Boscobel, you should be reaching a high of roughly 54 degrees. So overall, mostly cloudy, as you can see on Sky Tracker. Slight chance of a shower underneath some of those thicker clouds are possible. As we head into overnight tonight, we see some breaks in the clouds that are forecast to happen there before the clouds begin to increase again by tomorrow morning. And really throughout the rest of the day tomorrow, things are looking partly to mostly cloudy in general. So here's a check on your 8-day forecast as we head into Wednesday. Partly cloudy skies, high of 65. So that steady warm-up trend is going to be on the way here as we hit the middle of the week. And then by Thursday, some scattered showers, but look at the high though, 68 degrees. Mid to upper 60s for Friday and Saturday under mostly cloudy skies there. And then as we head into Sunday and also into Monday, we see those chances of rain showers gradually increase, but at least those temperatures will be into the upper 60s, low 70s. Our lows will be in the 30s and 40s through at least Thursday, Friday time frame, and then after that, we start to warm up into the low 50s for our lows during the morning by the weekend and also into early next week. So stay tuned. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for May 1st. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. Coming into Sunday, the Brewers were tied for the third best record in the MLB at 18-9. A great start to the season. Corbin Burns had a good outing Saturday, and the organization said that Brandon Woodruff's follow-up MRI was very positive relative to what it could have been. They're still going to be without him until at least mid to late June. So the team needs all the wins they can get, and they were going for the series sweep yesterday afternoon at home. To American Family Field, it's Game 3 between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Los Angeles Angels, and the Brewers offense was missing Jose Suarez striking out Mike Brasso, Willie Adames, and then Brian Anderson with a man on first. He's going to go down on K. Suarez was dominating. Colin Ray on the mound for the Brewers, but makes a mistake here as Jake Lamb gets a good chunk of this, sends it deep as it clears the fence for a solo shot. Angels in front. Next inning, and this is the man the fans came to see, the face of baseball, Shohei Ohtani taking Ray deep. If the Brewers offense wasn't going to do anything, at least this guy put on a show. That makes it 2-0 LA, as the Angels would go on to win it 3-0. just 3 hits from Milwaukee as they now trail the Pittsburgh Pirates by 1.5 games in the NL Central. Next up for the Brewers, on the road in Colorado starting Tuesday. And it was a chilly day at Target Field as the Twins were hosting the Royals. And the scoring started early. Runners at the corners, and Nick Gordon lays down a great bunt. Buxton's going to score. Gordon thrown out at first, but gets the RBI. Next inning, 2 on for Byron Buxton. You can say goodbye to this baseball. Buxton sends it to deep left field into the upper decks for a 3-run shot. Minnesota goes up 4, and then you got to check out their new home run celebration. Buxton putting on the fishing vest, grabs the pole, and he's gone fishing in the land of 10,000 rakes. Very clever. But they weren't done. Same inning, and Gordon comes through again, this time a single into center field. 1 run comes in to score. Gordon has his 2nd RBI of the day. Next batter, the 2-out rally continues. Castro singles into right. That scores a run. And then we're still in the 3rd. Christian Vasquez at the plate, and he's going to get another 2-out base hit. This time 2 runners come in to score. It's a 7-run 3rd inning as the Twins, they get the win 8-4. They're now 17-12 on the year. They've got a 3.5 game lead in the AL Central. Next up for Minnesota, Tuesday on the road in Chicago against the White Sox. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Nate Brown is an 18-year-old volunteer firefighter in Maston. He faced termination this year over a complaint that he was insubordinate. But some Maston residents say the investigation was a chance for city officials that are going too far. News 8 Now's Ken Kozarowski has the story.
On April 5 of 2021, Nate Brown responded to a fire call and he got on the fire truck. And when Jordan Wilkie got on that fire truck, Nate Brown got off.
The other fireman, Wilkie, worked at City Hall and knew Commission Chair Brian McGuire and City Administrator Randy Rieg. Those relationships had some in the fire department referring to Wilkie as the Mole.
There was a meeting of the PFC where he stood up and he said if he found out who was calling him the Mole, he would burn the guy.
You're supposed to be able to respect your brothers. They should have your back at all times. And when someone says that, you think twice or 3 times about being in a situation with him on scene.
Wilkie received a written reprimand. Brown got one too for getting off the truck.
I don't think it's right that anybody that makes a threat to burn a fellow fireman, his brother bud, should be able to be allowed to be on the fire.
Fast forward to September of last year for a call to clear spilled sand off a railroad track. As usual, all 33 volunteer firemen get the call, but only a few actually need to be on hand for it. And since all have full-time jobs elsewhere,
if a truck's rolled and they don't need another one, we're going to go back to work.
He concluded that there were enough people to handle this fire call, and he was in the middle of a plumbing job that he didn't want to stop because he had other people working there. So he didn't get on the truck. He was written up for that one.
Any written reprimand usually has to come within a couple weeks of an incident. Brown didn't get one until November 9th.
But what's particularly interesting is that Mr. Reed sent out an email on October 6th between the event of September 20th and the issuance of the reprimand. And in that email, he said, this has now been far too long from the date of the incident to take management action.
That same night, Brown was off duty having a drink downtown and saw Wilkie, City Administrator Rieg, and PFC Chair McGuire. As Rieg recalls,
He leered at me and stared at me in a manner that appeared to be like he was trying to intimidate me.
McGuire headed over to Brown.
He asked me what was the matter, and I told him that I prefer not to talk to you.
That's not profane, that's not aggressive, that's not insulting, that's not insubordinate.
The next day, McGuire was on a run, using a trail that cuts by Brown's family plumbing business. McGuire said it's a route he's used plenty of times before because he knew Brown's dad. Brown headed to the end of the driveway.
He yelled at me and stay off of his property as I was running towards him.
If you're caught on the property again, I'm going to consider it trespass.
Because it was so out of character, as I got back here, I thought, I'm going to stop and document this.
Did you feel at all at any point physically threatened by Nate?
No.
I should report it to the police chief because it felt like the situation was escalating.
Reig brought in Police Chief Zilich and later Fire Chief Hale to investigate. Both testified that Brown violated policies in the Mauston Employee Handbook.
I didn't really want to, but I decided I had to. You think that he didn't exercise professionalism, competence, respect, and loyalty in the performance of his duties as a fireman when he told somebody on private property, I don't want you here anymore?
Yes.
Mauston's Employee Handbook has a list of major infractions that can trigger termination. Insubordination is one of them, but the conduct has to be serious, extreme, or outrageous in nature.
And this is a pretty important case because you've got a whole pile of firefighters in the room who want to know whether this is the kind of conduct that makes them at risk for being terminated as firemen.
The commission makes that decision using this guide from the League of Wisconsin Municipalities, finding evidence of the infraction, judging whether the employee knew the consequences, and whether the proposed penalty is reasonable.
It might have been maybe not the biggest conduct in the world, but that was conduct which was intentionally showing disrespect to those folks because of their position they held with the city.
You got a firefighter who got mad over something. Let's get rid of him. Let's fire that guy. I hope none of the other firefighters ever get mad about anything.
And after a half hour of closed session talks, the commission found evidence for insubordination, but not termination.
The PFC finds that an appropriate discipline would be a 30-day suspension effective immediately.
If it would have went the other way, do I think you have 33 guys on the department? I say no.
Brown has since fulfilled his 30-day suspension. The League of Wisconsin Municipalities says police and fire commissions exist to separate those departments from local politics. But residents say city officials broke through that separation of powers, and the commission allowed it. Ken will dig into those claims in a follow-up story later this week. A new report says 34% of Wisconsin households are struggling to afford the basics like housing, food, and childcare. This report has released in the state's ALICE report and supplied by United Way of Wisconsin. ALICE stands for Assessed Limited Income Constrained Employed. It describes households that are making more than the federal poverty level but less than the state's basic cost of living. The data was collected in 2021.
We know addressing the needs of ALICE families is a priority for racial equity, gender equity, as well as a priority for all people who want to live in healthy and thriving communities.
In Wisconsin, between 2019 and 2021, the average annual cost of living increased 16% for a single adult, 13% for a single senior, and 11% for a family of 4. 2 lucky loons have now returned to the skies after being released on Pelican Lake. The loons were among several taken in by the Raptor Education Group during last week's loon fallout, where the water birds were literally falling from the sky. One of the loons was found in a pile of cow manure, the second found in a pond that was too tiny to leave. Now, almost a week later, they were released into the wild.
The 2 that were released today will do really well. They're both very strong birds. They're in good weight. They show every sign of good health now.
Reggie says this year the public has done a great job calling in and reporting downed loons. Now the loons are healthy enough to continue their migration journey. Over in Waukesha, these dogs are learning to swim. Trainers say it's a myth that dogs innately know how to swim. Flailing paws, or what's known as the doggy paddle, won't keep all afloat, and drowning is real. Think Positives got a 40-foot dock attached to a 41-foot pool in Waukesha, where dogs of all ages can get comfortable in the water and learn to dock dive.
Yay! And so if they're just accidentally jumping off the boat, they're going to do that poppy splashing and panic. And so we want to go ahead and teach them not to panic, to enjoy the water.
Pool time in Waukesha is typically 20 minutes and the water temperature is at 86 degrees. It's benefiting dogs like Amber that may need rehab.
The conditioning that she has gained from the treadmill and swimming every week has made her stronger, faster, happier. She's 9.5, going on 4.
for many of those dogs, it's a work in progress. Here's Derek to give us an update on our weather conditions. Derek?
All right, thanks so much for that, Sophia. Looking a little bit gusty out there this morning. We're seeing wind gusts anywhere between 25 to 35 miles an hour coming out of the northwest, which is making our wind chills make our temperatures feel like they're into the 30s this morning. As a matter of fact, it feels like we're at the freezing mark here currently in La Crosse. Your forecast high today will be 52 with mostly cloudy skies and overall very windy northwest winds at 20 to 30 miles an hour. For tonight, we drop to 37 degrees, partly or mostly cloudy rather, still windy out of the northwest at 15 to 25 miles an hour. So a little bit gusty here for your driving commute and also very cloudy. This gusty and cloudy trend will continue throughout the day today here as well, with mowing conditions also looking a little chilly here too. So the best time to probably mow, I would say, will be about 5 p.m. with cloudy skies overhead. Temperatures a little bit warmer at 52, but it will be, however, gusty during the afternoon hours as well, which, by the way, I'll time out those wind gusts coming up in the last check on the full weather forecast after the break. But also coming up in our Buzz Report, a certain animated blockbuster found its way to Twitter. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Overall, a fairly cloudy start here across much of the Coulee region this morning, but we have seen some evidence of the clouds beginning to break apart here a little bit, but you can see there's still some cloudier skies there well into the distance, and we're expecting more of those clouds to develop and spread across the area today. Current temperatures 42 degrees in La Crosse, gusty out of the northwest at 33, sustained at 24 though. Our river stage is at 14.36 feet, and the good news is that it continues to drop along the Mississippi River there, at least in La Crosse. 40 degrees and cloudy skies now in Eau Claire, gusty winds at around 28 miles an hour, sustained though out of the northwest at 14 miles an hour. So the gusty and windy conditions are all associated with this broad low pressure system now positioned just northeast over the northeastern Great Lakes region, and you can still see that we're being affected by this here as well with some wraparound cloud cover. The precipitation is just east of us, but we're under a pretty tight pressure gradient with this system, which is why the wind speeds are looking fairly strong here this morning. Current wind chill factors are into the low 30s across the area thanks to those gusty winds between 20 to 30 miles an hour, which will continue here throughout the morning and also into the afternoon. We could be looking at gusts anywhere between 25 to 35 miles an hour, and it looks like those wind speeds begin to subside here a little bit, especially as we head into tonight. And we're going to be talking about 15 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts tonight and until they begin to pick up again as we head into the day tomorrow, because by tomorrow afternoon we're going to be looking at gusts up to about 30 miles an hour here at times across most, if not all, the Coulee region, and then subsiding here as we head into tomorrow night. And so after tomorrow night, I do think that the winds will continue to gradually subside here as that system pulls away from us. Other than that, the planner here today is cloudy with temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Our highs today will be rising into the low 50s. I'm expecting a high of 52 today in La Crosse and 51 if you're in Eau Claire. So Sky Tracker showing all the cloudy skies across the area now, which will continue for most locations here today. And you can see those clouds begin to spread across our western communities there. After starting off a little clear here this morning, everybody's going to be pretty cloudy, especially by 5 p.m. today, with a slight chance of a shower or two. Heading into overnight tonight, we see some clearing here a little bit, but overall, mostly cloudy skies can be set here tonight and also into tomorrow morning. We'll start off on a cloudy note with cloudy skies once again expected here for the majority of the day here tomorrow, with temperatures well into the mid-50s. But then after that, we're going to see a warm-up trend, because high temperatures will rise into the mid-60s by Wednesday. Chance of scattered showers on Thursday, followed by mostly cloudy conditions Friday and Saturday with highs in the mid-60s there throughout the rest of the work week. Heading into the weekend, highs into the upper 60s, low 70s with a chance of showers on Sunday.
In our Morning Buzz report, a certain movie based on a video game has popped up on Twitter. The Super Mario Brothers movie appeared on Twitter when a user posted a pirated copy of the animated blockbuster. The clip drew an estimated 9 million views before Twitter took it down. It's not the first time a Twitter user has posted an entire film, but Twitter Blue subscribers can now upload hour-long videos, making such piracy easier.
3, 2, 1.
You don't need to fill your living room with plastic orange tracks to race these Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels Rift Rally uses mixed reality for its gameplay, featuring over 140 digital Hot Wheels cars. The physical part of the game comes with a remote-controlled camera car. Your digital car can perform tricks and stunts like wheelies. Hot Wheels Rift Rally is playable now on PlayStation 4 and 5 and on iOS devices.
You now work for the committee to re-elect the president. Your new mission is to make sure he wins this election.
The break-in that brought down a president is the subject of a new series with a darkly comic take on the men at the center of the scandal. White House Plumbers tells the Watergate story from the perspective of the burglars, with Woody Harrelson as E. Howard Hunt and Justin Theroux as G. Gordon Liddy. White House Plumbers debuts today on HBO and will stream on HBO Max. With some help from his friends, country music legend and activist Willie Nelson celebrated his 90th birthday with a concert at the iconic Hollywood Bowl. Helping him ring in this milestone was a who's who of music royalty, including Lyle Lovett, Snoop Dogg, and Charlie Sexton. That's according to CBS News Los Angeles. Nelson is about to embark on a coast-to-coast tour this summer. You a Willie Nelson fan?
No, I mean, I haven't really heard too much.
I have no idea who that is, and I
Yeah,
feel
no.
like I should, and I feel like he's prominent, but I have no idea who
I
he
always
is.
get scared when we ask those questions because it's just like, how
I
have you
know.
never heard of him
I
or
know.
heard of her? You know, it's
I know.
like,
I'm gonna probably talk to my parents, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my God!"
yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's one of those things.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, we're going to start off with George today. He's turning 8. Now, George is a big fan of anything sweet. He also loves skiing and playing with his buddies.
Happy 80th birthday to Kathy. Kathy is a loving mom, grandma, and great-grandma.
Well, if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button, under the Home tab on our website. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. Time for your morning news now. We have an update on the train derailment near DeSoto that happened yesterday. All hazardous materials have been removed and Highway 35 is still closed near the train derailment so that repairs on the track and roadway can continue. That's according to a Facebook post by Crawford County Emergency Management. Old Highway 35 near DeSoto is also closed to traffic. Road closures are expected to last until Wednesday. Crawford County Emergency Management also shared on its Facebook page that today, the Drake Piano Bar will offer a free lunch to volunteers and those displaced by the flood. A new report says 34% of Wisconsin households are struggling to afford the basics like housing, food, and childcare. This report was released in the state's ALICE report and supplied by the United Way of Wisconsin. ALICE stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. It describes households that are making more than the federal poverty level but less than the state's basic costs of living. The data was collected in 2021.
We know addressing the needs of ALICE families is a priority for racial equity, gender equity, as well as a priority for all people who want to live in healthy and thriving communities.
In La Crosse, teens received crash courses in driving techniques. Gunderson Health Systems, the Teen Car Control Clinic, teaches young drivers behind the wheel exercises and increased awareness. Lessons range from weight transfer to learning what to do when your car skids. Organizers say the kids were nervous at first, but that changed as the day went on.
As the day goes on and they get that experience and they get more comfortable with what we're doing and what we're showing them, by the end of the day, they're all really excited and really happy that they took the course.
Over 24 students took the course. The Bike Barn helped the La Crosse Police Department do some spring cleaning. Items left behind at the police department's evidence locker were put up for auction at the Bike Barn on Isle La Plum. Organizers say the auction is good for those searching for a bike or some bargains.
Sometimes you can get a pretty decent bike for a decent price. Otherwise, depending on how many people show up at the auction, there could be a slight bidding war and it could go a little bit higher than expected.
The Bike Barn has 200 to 300 bikes, so anyone in town who has lost their bike can look for it there. If you'd like to look for your stolen or lost bike, it's open from 4:30 until 6 in the evening on the first Wednesday of each month. That goes until October. Calling all citizen scientists, UW La Crosse students invited community members to help at the Earth Fair at Myrick Park. Students reached out to the public to bring in playground surfaces. The team is testing the safety of different play surfaces, like the chemicals found in recycled crumb rubber play surfaces. A UWL chemistry professor says he hopes their research will make a difference.
We hope to let the school district know and also the city of La Crosse and everybody who's involved know if we find a risk relative to certain toxic thresholds.
The student team is led by Professor Rolfus and works with the Safer Playgrounds and Community Environments Group and the Thriving Earth Exchange. They say the project will wrap up this fall and then they'll share their results with the community.
As you head out the door this morning, it's a bit gusty out there. We're seeing northwest winds between around 15 to 25, gusts up to 30, cloudy skies, temperatures in the 40s. We warm up into the low 50s, though, as we head into this afternoon. Your 8-day forecast showing us tomorrow 55 degrees, still a bit breezy, partly to mostly cloudy, 65 on Wednesday, chance of scattered showers Thursday. But at least by mid to the end of the week, our temperatures will steadily warm up, which is kind of where we should be for this time of the year, mid to upper 60s to low 70s.
Sunday is going to be my day, the 70s.
Yeah.
I'll be happy then.
Absolutely, we'll take it.
Thanks, Derek. And thank you for watching News 8 Now. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We'll have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for watching News 8.